Greetings, my fellow humans and non-humans. I can't believe I'm saying this. Jason Voorhees is in Dead by Daylight. The Jason! It's him! It's real! I am, just gonna, do a little basement dweller babble here, you know? I guess this is my, early impressions, thoughts, slash review, all rolled into one. We're gonna talk about the good, the disappointing, and the bright future that I see for Jason and Dead by Daylight. So let's start off with a lot of things. I guess before this is why we call it Basement Dweller Babble, because we're babbling here. I guess let's get the small stuff out of the way. So yeah, in lore, Jason, and the Unknown meet, and they have like a little side tussle. You know, and they battle around. Jason wins, and then the fog envelops him, and then he sees Zarina, and then I guess Zarina was on death hook because he just moried her essentially. And that's pretty cool. But then I don't know. Maybe I'm misreading something, but I think he fought the Unknown before the Unknown was in the Entity's realm. So then that would just mean that Jason has been inside the realm longer, which is kind of funny to think about. And also, interesting enough, I don't think Jason is from Greenville, because the lore starts off with him in Greenville's forest. But there's a perk. I wish I had it with me, but it literally has a quote from the Ormond. So like that would imply that Jason travels, and that's pretty cool, I guess. Like he goes place to place. I guess he's just a wandering dude doing Jason-y things. So yeah, there's that. That's a cool thing. You know, something that we got because Jason Universe is just that cool that they just allow DBD to have fictional fights. You know, allow it to happen. And then we got talk about his looks. You know, I love his base design, Jason Universe. I don't know why people hate the design. Like, it's so weird because if I think of my least favorite Jason design, for me, it's no questions asked. It's Jason Goes to Hell Jason. I just don't like how bulbous his head is. I don't know. It's weird. I don't like it. And then when people are talking about Jason Universe design being bad, I'm like, I don't know. It's how I would describe Jason. You know, that's such a weird thing. Like I guess some people don't like that there's 13 holes in the mask. I think it's pretty cool that there's 13 holes on the mask. You know, like Friday the 13th, 1313. Which actually a lot of add-ons and other stuff actually are acknowledging 13, which is pretty cool. And then he has a bunch of other cosmetics as well, which I'm rotating and showing off right here. And you can mix and match them. So there's like some parts you like and some parts you don't like. It's so cool. So like by default, it's like he's already better than Myers, Freddy, and Leatherface in the cosmetic department. In fact, he already has more than them. Already day 0 already, and he's most likely gonna have more to come. You know, like I could see Blighted Jason being a highly most likely reality to happen. And if Jason Universe ever has Jason and Crystal Lake season 2, if we ever get that far, or a new Jason movie, and there's a new look, I'm pretty confident it's gonna be in DBD because it's all under Jason Universe. And then people may be asking, well, what about the movie appearances? I think it will happen. Also, this is my Jason fit. This is my favorite mask and combo stuff. I think it will happen eventually, movie stuff. I just have the feeling that Jason Universe wants new things, you know, like they've been stuck in the past, you know, they were in legal mumbo jumbo. Now they have a chance to do something and they want to start off by having new things, which I can respect that because like, they are selling like old merchandise stuff for, I guess they label it on just Friday 13th the game, and they do own, a good chunk of stuff. I think they don't own Friday 13th the name itself, and then they don't own the last 4 movies, I believe. Yeah, those were under New Line Cinema, but recently Paramount bought New Line Cinema, which I mean they bought Warner Brothers, which the New Line Cinema is under Warner Brothers. But Paramount owns only the film distribution rights, which I don't know if that means they own the movie looks. I don't think they do, because I don't see Paramount stuff when it comes to Jason Universe merchandise, so I don't think so, but I don't know. I'm like I just think that Jason Universe just wants new stuff. And I don't know. I don't know if we're ever gonna see other Jasons from past iterations. I hope so. But then again, my two favorite Jasons just happens to be the ones owned by Warner Brothers, which is Uber Jason, and then Freddy vs. Jason. I think that's by far my favorite Jason design. Freddy vs. Jason. That's a lot of Jasons, I know, but it's just the way he goes. And then I guess we could talk about the two other negatives about this chapter before we start going on the positives. No map. Like, dang, like I'm a bit shocked because Jason Universe owns Crystal Lake, because we're gonna get a show called Crystal Lake. You know, it's like season 1, which is gonna be, I guess, based on Friday the 13th Part 1. And I think there's a misconception that people think that Jason Universe doesn't own Crystal Lake or Pamela Voorhees and stuff like that. They do. Jason Universe is a joint like operation between both gosh, I sound dumb. I think it's Victor Miller and Horror Inc. I believe those are the two parties right there. It's a collaborative effort, Jason Universe. I feel like people think it's not. I don't know why. I guess actually no, I do know why. It's just because we haven't been seeing all that stuff going on. To be fair, I feel like most people, when they think of Friday the 13th, they don't think of the Pamela storyline much. I mean, usually a footnote. Like, even I think was it 2009 when we had the reboot for Jason. They kind of like skimmed through Pamela's story arc just to get straight to Jason, which I actually I think that might be like my second favorite Jason film altogether. But yeah, so we have no Crystal Lake. Like, I was even willing to take just a DBD original like camp map. Which is pretty sad because we don't really have that many like foresty maps. We have Red Forest, and then we had Shelter Woods, but Shelter Woods was kind of boring, to be honest. So then they just put the Skull Merchant, some stuff there, which makes it more vibrant. But dang, we don't have like a normal woodsy place with a lake like in the background. You know, you don't even have to go to the lake, because I feel like DB doesn't want to add swimming, because oh gosh, there's so many killers now, and I don't want to imagine what type of how the skeletons would work, making them all swim. So I don't think we're ever gonna get swimming in DBD, as fun as that sounds. Dude, imagine being a xenomorph and swimming. Oh, that'd be so cool. How would Chucky swim? Huh. But yeah, so no lake map, unfortunately. Very unfortunate for me, because it just feels kind of weird, because like at least like Springtrap had a map, you know. Like I was fine with no FNAF Survivor, because I feel like FNAF is just a series where the antagonists are the main highlights, not the protagonist. But for Friday the 13th, we have like a few good candidates, but I guess most people by default would think Tommy Jarvis from parts well, New Beginning, the one before New Beginning, and Jason Lives. Oh gosh. No, the final chapter. There we go. Right. The final chapter was okay. Final chapter, New Beginning, and Jason Lives. Okay, so Tommy Jarvis, you know, very popular guy. Granted, I guess he was only interesting once Jason Lives happened. I didn't really care too much, because I guess the problem about Friday the 13th is that they have so many protagonists. You know, it's never the same all the time. I guess you can make the argument, oh, but Halloween, you know, not all the Halloween movies has you know, Laurie Strode, but the thing is, those are the good movies. Those are the ones that have Laurie Strode in them. Dang, I guess that's why I don't really marathon the other Halloween movies often now. And then, you know, I kind of see Jason like Leatherface, where we're just having so many sets of protagonists and stuff like that I don't really get attached to the protagonist. I'm just more hearing for the cool villain actions and whatnot. That's what I'm here for. And so I could live with no Survivor. Interesting enough, we do have 3 perks for a new Survivor, right? That's not tied to Jason, but it seems to be a DVD original character. And because the lore mentioned Greenville, Jason being there, and then you know, we also have like a new tome story, you know, that's currently going on with Julian, you know, who's the best friend of Michaela, and also Sable's there. Maybe we'll get Julian as a survivor. Please, DBD. Like this would be a financial like boom investment right here. This would be like I'm telling you, the DBD needs Julian. He will save DBD. Okay, well, DVD doesn't need saving, but he would sell a lot of cosmetics, I could tell you that. And then because Michaela and Sable are popular, then we just have Julian, you know, here. Like, oh man, you're gonna see like a lot of like trio survivors. So yeah, it'd be cool. I guess we can now talk about Jason's power. So you can see on the gameplay footage in the background, Jason has two things going on with him. Let's do the first one, probably the one you're gonna see the most, and that is Jason could go to scrap piles, you know, to make to use them as a makeshift javelins, right? So like you can see some scrap piles, and then you could get like an ore, you get like a pole, a steel beam, just some random junk, right? And as well as that, he also ripped the hook off the sacrificial hooks and used that as a javelin, which is pretty awesome. That's cool. I love that. You know, it feels very Jason-y. You know, he's a very versatile killer. Look. You see Jason's picking up a random ore. That's awesome. And then as well as that, this is tied to him having two alternate kill methods. So then, you know, in Dead by Daylight, usually if the last survivor is downed, or you bring an offering when a survivor is going to be dead on hook, you perform a kill called a Mori. And Jason has a pretty cool one, but without needing a Mori, you could hit a survivor with your javelins, right? If you pin them up against the wall, he does a kill animation where he's basically holds them up and then shoves the rod down their throats, you know, and pin them against the wall that way. That's pretty cool, gnarly. And if he downs a survivor with the makeshift javelins and they're on the floor, he just pulls it out of the survivors, you know, ripping, you know, taking out their guts like spaghetti and then tosses them away. That's awesome. Those two are gnarly. The Mori itself is him, you know, ripping out your guts and then tossing the survivor on the floor. The survivor is still alive, which that is a terrifying thing to think about. And then he pours gasoline knocks a barrel of gasoline that just happens to be there, and then like he ignites the flame, you know, with some, you know, hidden metal together, you know, to create sparks, and then he watches you burn to a crisp. Very Friday 13th-esque. I love all these kill methods. You know, it makes me excited because I usually play with Moris all the time because I don't really need blood points anymore, so it's just Mori City. So I'm going to have a lot of fun having alternate kill methods for my survivor victims. Pretty excited for that. And then, as well as that, the javelin, it has a lot of skill potential. I've already seen clips of people like being in high areas and shooting the javelin across the maps and stuff like that. It is awesome. I think he has a higher skill ceiling than Springtrap does, just because of that. I don't think as high as Huntress' skill ceiling, but only time will tell. This is a day one impression after all. And then Jason has a secondary power, which is I don't know what the name. Oh, wait, let me see the name. The name is called Omnipresent Evil. So it looks more cool in the survivor's point of view. I'll describe it in the survivor's point of view. So basically, when Jason does this, it gets real foggy, and then Jason steps back as he disappears as a large a large amount of fog, you know, engulfs him, right? And then he disappears. You don't know where he's at. And basically, wherever there's a window, pallets, a door, a broken pallet, or a place where a broken pallet or a spot where a pallet could have spawned, Jason could manifest there. You know, it gets foggy, you know, and then he just appears out of the fog. It looks so cool. Killer side, you just go really fast. You know, you can't see the survivors, but you can see their footsteps, or you can see a red cloud if they're hanging around in the location doing nothing, or I guess doing generators or healing. You know, they're staying in a single spot for a good while. You know, you can see them, but then you have to make sure to find a spot pretty close to them to appear. And once you appear and there's like survivors nearby, they actually scream, which is pretty cool. Overall, it sounds very basic, you know, but I kind of like that. It's just really thematic. It's so good. Also, look at Sable right there. Like, oof. I was talking about that, you know, one of the kill methods. I don't know. This feels like Jason. Like that's a huge positive I could say about this chapter. I feel like I actually am Jason Voorhees. Um, but yeah, overall, if I had to rate the whole chapter, it is real rough, just because it's just a killer, no map, and then I guess no survivor, which I know a lot of people wanted Tommy Jarvis, and a part of me did too. I'm not really attached to the character, so like, I don't know, like, but I know others who are bigger Friday the 13th fans really wanted Tommy Jarvis, which is a shame, and it's kind of weird because Jason Universe does own Tommy Jarvis, but they just didn't use him. I don't know. I really hope that at least we get like a map inspired by Crystal Lake, you know, in the future. I don't know. I just don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I'm like gonna say like 70 or 80% chance that we will see movie skins in DBD, unless somehow Jason Universe doesn't own the rights to no, but they do though. That's the thing, because like we've been seeing them making merchandise. I don't know, huh? Well, I don't know. I think Jason and DBD has a bright future. I'm excited. Overall, if I have to rate the chapter, I would have to give it a 7.5 out of 10. 7 feels too low just because of how good Jason feels like in DBD. But if I give him an 8, that feels too high for a chapter that's missing a map and a survivor. Overall, though, I am happy with what we got. Is it like the most unique power out there? No, but it's fun. And it's fun on both sides. I've played a lot more matches against Jason just because PTB times, you know, it takes a long time to get a match as a killer. So, and I had fun playing against him. It felt awesome, especially hearing the, you know, the iconic sound effects, you know, Jason manifesting, and then having the cool kill methods, you know, the alternate kill methods. Those are all real cool. So yeah, overall, I'm excited for the future of DBD. This is like 10 years, and I guess next video I will talk about my top 10 licenses I want in the game, because now that Jason, who was like number 2 current at the time, I gotta just yeah, I guess I got some interesting thoughts to talk about, you know, about that. Sorry for rambling. This is the Basement Dweller Babble after all, so I've been the Basement Dweller, and take care. Have yourself a groovy day / night, and bye.